Illini win 85-78. Terrence Shannon rises from the dead at the Garden and steps up in overtime with 12 points. What's your reaction to the Illini winning this game?
I loved in the post-game press conference when Brad Underwood said, "We've been waiting for Matthew Meyer to show up." He goes, I said, "Welcome to the orange and blue tonight after the game." No, but they're so versatile, right? Like I just love the different lineups that they can run out there. I love
so does Brad, by the way,
how you can play. You can play Coleman Hawkins out there at the 5, and you have a 5-man that can guard point guards, and a 5-man that can basically run your offense for you, right? He can pass the ball well enough. He can do those different things. When Matthew Meyer, I think it's such a luxury that you can have Terrence Shannon, the guy that we saw go for 30 and hit 8 for 9 from 3 earlier this season, have a horrible night. Like he wasn't just missing shots; he was taking terrible shots. He wasn't locked in defensively. He didn't play very well. And it doesn't matter. Number 2 team in the country, you take them to overtime because, oh, by the way, Matthew Meyer is there.
Well, against Virginia, you remember they couldn't do that. Shannon had a terrible night. Right. The night after he went bananas against UCLA, he had a horrible night against Virginia. Nobody else stepped up. They end up losing that one. Tonight, there were enough other guys that stepped up.
I think there's more of an indictment on Texas. They had the game controlled down the stretch. The crowd was quiet. They were up 10. It was kind of looking like they were going to kind of finish it out, and they let them get going. And in the first half, Meyer kind of buoyed them because it was looking like that in the first half. Yeah, kept them close. And so, I like what they did tonight, but I think Texas also kind of blew it, man. I mean, they were up 5 with what? 3 or 4 points. Or they were up 5 with 45, 50 seconds, a minute left.
They were up by 5 with a minute to go.
2 threes go in. One was called a timeout. So they take it off. The other one, things went wrong for them.
And Tyrese Hunter, he cramped up, so he was on the bench for 2 minutes. Then when he came back in, I asked Beard about this after, and I said, obviously he wasn't himself. He said, no. I mean, they stuck him in the corner. He didn't come to get the ball. They didn't call anything for him. He was literally a decoy on the left wing the whole time. And then, and I hate to say this, but it's true, Minnesota Marcus showed up. And Minnesota Marcus means Marcus Carr tried to do it himself. It's true.
What other options did they have at that point? Well, because they weren't.
Timmy Allen had gotten you there. He had gotten you there. Yeah, but you got to run something for him.
But he's limited in what I don't think that you can just run a set for him because he's not a threat outside of 15 feet, if that.
No, but
he's kind of like he puts his head down, goes to his right hand.
I'm actually going to go back on what you said, though. The only thing I have with you, and I agree with you to a degree, but Allen did have the big night for them and was consistent. The other thing, though, is, John, what you said. Marcus Carr did hit an elbow jumper. It was a 5-point game with a minute left. You're a good defensive team. Should you win the game?
Should win the game. I mean, it was, and I also, now that I've got to see them in person, as you said, we talk so much about Texas being good defensively, a good team. There's a lot of guys on that team that need the ball, need plays. Even with Dylan Mitchell, their big guy, Allen doesn't need someone to look for him, but his game is predicated off other players' guards. So tonight, I kind of saw a glaring weakness. Like, hey, look, if you just shut down, you let Marcus just.
But Tyrese wasn't himself. Again, Tyrese was great early. Then didn't play well, and then obviously game time.
It's not the first time he's dealt with that either.
I know.
He had cramp earlier. Was it Gonzaga?
Yeah, I think so.
10 points in the first half. He did not score.
I got an electrolyte plan for him.
I buy that.
It's the guard. We're not even down south. It's not Florida. It's good AC. It was cold. Cold up here.
Right. Yeah. So is this the best Illinois team that Brad Underwood has had?
It's different. I think it's the most equipped to be able to win in the tournament. I would say that. I don't know if it's the best.
The Kofi team.
Well, if
Kofi can't guard, couldn't guard anybody. That was the problem, right? Is you went up, and it's the same thing with a lot of these plotting big guys.
I was shocked.
Jeff, if it's the most,
he didn't get drafted because he was a force.
He's in China or Japan, I think, right now. Should have come back and made NIL.
China's good.
It would have made about $1.5 million NIL right now. I don't know what he's.
But if you're the most equipped to win in March, then doesn't that make you the best?
Of course.
Got to show us though. You got to show us.
Right. We don't know yet, but
I still kind of.
You're not bought it. You're not completely bought it.
I'm not completely bought it, and I'm not willing to completely write off what Illinois was the last 2 seasons either. Like they had Ayo DeSumo and Kofi Coburn. Yeah. They had a year where Kofi Coburn averaged 22 and 10. Like we're not just going to pretend that he was. he was terrible because they ran into a Houston team that happened to be number 2 on KenPom, and they
Right.
beat them. Like, come on,
Right.
like we're not.
Well-
I'm not going to sit here and say that Illinois team was bad because they lost in the Sweet 16. That's
No, but what they are is they're versatile now. What they are is switchable now. What they are is a bunch of different dudes who can make plays off the bounce now.
yeah,
You know, like
my
they were
only-
small. They were small in the backcourt last year. Really, really small.
Epps came out the blue too. I mean,
Yeah.
He was huge.
I mean, if they don't have, I mean, if he doesn't assert himself towards it, I mean,
We're
it's
talking
just,
about Texas right now.
yeah. Oh, well,
That's what we are. No,
Yeah,
no, I'm
yeah,
saying
yeah,
if Epps
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
do that,
yeah.
we're talking about Texas right now.
Right.
One of the plays of the game, Shannon was actually on the bench when Illinois was making a comeback in this game, and it was a 6-point affair. Epps does a great job of initiating the offense, and he finds RJ Melendez for an open 3, triple, all
Right.
3 of these, and that really catapulted them. They actually, under Epps, they ran their offense probably as well as they
Which
did
is
the whole
shocking.
night.
Shocking, because I remember seeing him in the preseason, and you know what I said? I'm like, I don't think he's like an undersized 2. That's what I felt like, and he still is a scorer
Mhm.
more than a
But
facilitator.
you don't need him to be a facilitator
Right,
because
right.
Hawkins is such a good passer.
And
because
Shannon, yeah.
can run stuff
And
up.
that's what Underwood said to me in the preseason, because I said to him, I was like, listen, I just don't know. Your point guard play, Sky doesn't look great. Epps isn't a point guard. And he said, like, that's not how we're going to play this year.
Epps plus 11 off the bench in 31 minutes, second highest plus
Huge.
minus.
And he had, and
so
he
we
had
saw that.
balls.
That's what we saw.
He had,
Yeah,
listen,
we saw.
you're in the Garden.
Right.
You make that 3.
You-
You're like a fringe top 100 player,
Right.
and you make those 2 free throws to force overtime. You got
Yes.
big cojones,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
that's what I
The thing that makes them dangerous
because
to me-
Texas is what? What do we always equate Chris Beard teams with? Toughness,
Toughness.
right?
Toughness
Toughness.
defensively,
Yes.
Yeah.
And Illinois didn't go away. A bunch of new dudes, that completely new team. I mean, who's back? Coleman Hawkins and who else? played?
Melendez.
And
Yeah.
Luke Goody will be back.
Yeah, I mean,
soon.
they basically lost all of their
Almost
key guys.
everybody.
Yeah,
Almost
all their key
everybody.
guys.
And I think that's what Brad Underwood has been so happy about when we talked to him after the game about, like, okay, I know I get some tough dudes. We recruited him from winning programs, and hopefully we can, we can figure out ways. We've got all these different players. I still don't know my team, but I feel pretty good about it.